Hello, 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 and welcome to Women's Wisdom Wednesdays, where we come together every Wednesday to empower women just like you, foster connections, and thrive on our journey of surviving womanhood. Let me introduce myself. I'm Kasey Conrad. I'm a well-being specialist and whole life coach. And my beautiful co-host, who is away for personal reasons this week, Bianca Cartin, who is a wellness and business coach. We miss you, Bianca. We're sending you a shout out. Mwah. Hoping all is well. Today, we have two very special guests joining us, Deb King and Sue O'Neill, and they have an inspiring story to share. And I have a secret. These are two of my aunts, and I am so blessed to have them here. I love them so much, and I've known them obviously since I was younger, and actually they were more like my big sisters than my aunties because they took care of me a lot. I annoyed them a lot, and we had wonderful times together. So before we introduce them, let's take a moment to address you, our audience. We want to remind you to visit our website at www.survivingwomanhood.com, where you can find valuable resources, connect with other women, and stay updated on our upcoming episodes, webinars, workshops, and retreats. We encourage you to actively participate by asking questions and adding comments. If you have a story to share, we would love to hear it. This is a safe space for us to grow and learn together. We'd also like to ask you to share your favorite episodes. You never know who out there might need to hear your inspiring story. Now, let's meet Debbie and Susie. Deb's career journey, from waiting tables to managing a bar for 30 years, has woven a tapestry of friendships and experiences. Alongside raising 4 beautiful children and enjoying 8 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren, she has always stayed active with 54 years of bowling and 35 years of shooting pool in league play. Now living in Florida, retirement means embracing new adventures such as chair yoga, community service, and a wholly vibrant life. No rest for this retiree. Susie's 32 years of work at American Motors and Jeep Corporation began when she was just a young single mother. I remember that, where she prioritized her children and grandchildren above all else. Despite the changes life brought, she never truly lived alone, always welcoming family into her home. The dream of moving to Florida with her sister Debbie to escape Ohio winters became a reality when her daughter Tricia, out of the blue, purchased a mobile home for them in Largo, Florida. What an amazing gift, right?
Right.
While Sue misses her home in Ohio, she finds freedom and joy in now finally living independently and with frequent visits from her family. So welcome. It's lovely to have both of you here. I feel so blessed and honored, and we have shared so much of our lives together. So I am happy now to be sharing you with the rest of the world. So welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So let's get started. Can you share some of the challenges you've encountered during your transition moving from Ohio, where you've both lived for most of your lives, and how you've managed to find the strength and courage to relocate all the way to Florida together since you've retired, taking you away from most of your family members? And how have you managed to brave through these concerns and challenges?
Well, for me, it my biggest challenge was leaving family and a home that I enjoyed for 30 years. I think we make attachments. Oopsie, I lost you somehow.
No, you're here. We have
Okay.
you.
Okay. Um, we get attached to material things. I gave up quite a bit to come down here. And then after I got here, I realized I really didn't need them. They were just things. I also, with managing finances, because it's much more expensive down here. So we really had to have a good budget in order to maintain what we thought was our best living situation like we had at home. Other than that, I guess the biggest thing for me was the darn traffic. The traffic here is quadruple what it was at home. So I was quite fearful for the first probably 2 months to drive anywhere. Susie drove everywhere until I got acclimated enough to go out on my own and find my way around. And other than that, I guess maybe the tornado seasons and hurricane seasons and our tropical storms, they're unnerving at first, but you just take it with a grain of salt like everybody else down here.
Mm-hmm. So I wonder if you can talk to us a little bit, and for women out there who are thinking about making a similar move, I wonder if you can talk about how you've gotten involved in the community and how. I want to say one thing. My two aunts have very different personalities. So just I want to say that right away because their lifestyles have become different in Florida. And so I think this is also a wonderful contrast to share because we don't all have the same wants and needs as, you know, our everyday lives are concerned. So Debbie, can you please tell us a little bit about some of the things you've gotten involved in since you've been down there?
Okay. Right off the bat, I got introduced to my neighbor next door, Karen. She's Susie's next door neighbor now because I've since purchased another mobile home. But and she got me involved in the DYCA, which is a community committee that puts on events every month for our community. And through that connection, I was able to make some new friends. And to me, it's a wonderful experience because I'm always on the go. I'm always doing something. I have to sometimes let go of family things in order to fulfill my obligation to the committee because I felt I should have. I should complete those events that I signed up for. And it's made my life so much better down here. I don't feel alone. I've got Susie. I can call Susie on the phone. My friends like I said, keep me busy, keep me active, which is a good thing. And then a month ago, I started chair yoga, which has really been beneficial for me because I've lacked a lot of exercise since I've been down here, believe it or not, because I don't access the pool as much as I should.
That's fantastic. Also, I also want to add that you've definitely overcome your fear of driving because how often are you driving every day?
Probably I go maybe 3 or 4 times a week out about.
Yeah, good. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Susie?
Well, the biggest challenge I had was because it was so fast, I had to make a plan on packing everything up in that house. And like Debbie said, deciding what to keep and bring with me and what to leave there, which I left a lot there. But I have, kids and grandkids. Everybody wanted something and everybody took something. So I would have to say, though, don't just do that on the spur of the moment. Make a plan because I didn't
researched this area. Trisha had been down here for a week, got the trailer, called and said, I have a trailer, you're moving to Florida. So make a plan. Don't just pick up and go. We did not research the area, but we are in a great, wonderful area. Everything is close by. And the first challenge we met together after we got here was living together. We've both lived on our own forever and ever. So we all had our own space, our own time frame, our own timetable. Debbie's a morning person. I am definitely not a morning person. I am a night owl. I had to get up for over 32 years at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and swore when I retired, the alarm clock was out the window. I was going to start watching late night, and that's what I do. So that was a big challenge. Mm-hmm. So after a while, we just decided, she should have her space and I should have my space. We're not mad at each other. It just was a decision we came to. Debbie got her own home, her own space, and she's perfectly happy. And of course, I'm never alone because then my son came down. But whatever. My kids and grandkids, the best part about this is that we're a 2-hour air flight away. The airport is 8 minutes from our home. We can get on an airplane and be back in Toledo in 2 hours, which has come in handy. For the first 2 years, Debbie and I both flew home at least twice a year just to visit our own doctor because we didn't want to have to find a doctor down here right away. And then we flew home for other things. One of the toughest things being here is that we're not home for big family get-togethers as often as we used to be. The 5 of us, our 2 other brothers and our older sister, who happens to be your mom, we used to get together 3 or 4 times a year and have big family parties. And I miss that the most. And I miss having my entire family, my kids and grandkids, for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I miss that. And another challenge was the first year we were here, we entertained our first hurricane, but we made it through that okay. And but now we're just in a pattern. We're just floating along. My kids come down. My kids have been here quite often. I did miss the first snow of up north. I miss the snow. I do miss the first snow. I don't miss a blizzard, but I do miss that. And it's very hot and humid here in the summertime, but we're coasting along. I enjoy it. Everything's close by.
Good. That's wonderful. And we didn't hear it in your intro, but I think people might be interested and maybe a little surprised to hear the number of children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren that you have.
I have 4 children. I have 9 grandchildren, and I have 25 great-grandchildren. And they never met a birth control method they liked, apparently. But they're all happy, and the majority of them are healthy. We've had a couple of tragedies in the last 2 years that have kind of set me back, and that I'm not going to talk because that'll just make me cry on your podcast. And so I've been dealing with that. So that has created a little bit of social anxiety for me. Sometimes I'm just grateful to have my own space that I can just sit here and enjoy the peace and quiet all by myself. But I do miss my kids, and they come down often, which is a blessing.
That's wonderful. I just want to say that these 2 women are 2 of the strongest women that I have ever met, and wonderful role models. Now I'm going to get teary. Wonderful role models for me. They've been through some stuff, and again, a lot of losses. They both have lost 2 husbands, and children and grandchildren. And you see them here living life and thriving. And I think for me, the strength of them is so evident. And my mom, their sister, also exhibits these same things. And my 2 uncles and a sister that they've also lost. And I think part of that, and maybe most of that, if I'm honest, comes from my grandmother, their mother.
Absolutely.
She created a very strong foundation for us, and I'm grateful for that every single day. So I want to move on a little bit now. We get past this. I want to ask you, how did you personally, each of you separately, how did you personally process and adjust to the challenges that you faced when you first moved? And what strategies or practices helped you to find strength and the resilience to make your lives work as successfully as you have?
Well, me personally, I take one day at a time. When I first moved down here, I kept myself very busy, and Debbie will tell you this. I am into crafts and decorating. So my first chore, we painted the entire home. I put wallpaper up. I spent weeks, just doing my thing, making it feel like my own personal home, Debbie's home. We did our own thing. So that took a lot of time. I didn't have time I didn't stress. I don't stress about this. I'm down here now. It's a 2-hour plane ride home. There's nothing to stress. I just processed each day as it came, and it's really, everything's kind of like fallen into place. I mean, I know my neighbors. I talk to my neighbors. My niece, Debbie's daughter, lives over in Tampa, and she comes and visits, and we still have family get-togethers, with the people that are down here. And so basically, that's how I process stuff, one day at a time. Just take it as it comes.
I want to ask you, how many times have you painted in there?
Twice. Twice in 3 years, I've repainted and wallpapered.
She likes to redecorate. That's why I said that. She loves to redecorate. So
absolutely, she does.
I think I got that from you.
That's my thing. Yeah.
It's kind of therapeutic, right?
Oh, yes, very, very therapeutic. Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Deb?
Well, I've always faced challenges, big or small, head on. I've always had an inner strength and an inner determination that I was going to accomplish anything I set myself off to do. And I think I've pretty much managed that. I mean, everybody knows how strong-willed I am.
Yep.
The fighter I am. And I did not let it bother me. I think that we closed a chapter of our lives that held a lot of meaning, but this new chapter is holding new meaning. So right. I'm just grateful that we made the transition here. And like Susie said, it's a 2-hour plane ride to home. And I like I said, I've always faced everything head on, whether it was right or wrong. I've made my own mistakes. But for the most part, I think the only challenges, like I said, was missing my family at home.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I do miss being home with my brothers and my sister and my couple grandchildren I have there. And at times it's hard. So, but for the most part, phone call away.
Yeah, and thank goodness for FaceTime, right?
Absolutely. And
yeah, I can remember when I used to hate thinking about being on FaceTime.
And now it's like a lifeline, isn't it?
It's a lifeline. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So far, this is amazing. Your stories are amazing. I'm sure they're so inspirational for other people out there. The two of you are such a support system for one another, and you actually only live like a block and a half away from one another, right?
It's actually 3 blocks, I think.
Is it that far?
Yeah, 3. It's not, they're short blocks. I've got a short block, then one long block, a shorter block, and then a long block to Susie's. It's really just straight down and like a T.
Yeah.
The swimming pool is in the middle.
Yeah, the swimming pool's in the middle of us.
Yeah, and you guys have a golf cart, right? You can just within your community, you can just tool around in your golf
Yes, we can
Oh,
take it
yeah,
up.
we can go out
I
on the
remember when I
sidewalk
was
too.
there. Yeah, when I was there,
Yeah.
we went from place to place in the golf cart, and that was
Right.
very convenient and
Yes,
very close. And you see each other often, right? You see
yes.
each
Oh,
other
yeah.
often.
Well, yeah.
If we don't, we talk on the phone every day.
Yeah.
I'm good
So,
about
and I
calling
think
her.
that's amazing. Mhm.
Yes, because a lot
Yeah.
of times she has do not disturb on, so I'll text her. You got your phone on?
And then it says notify anyway, and then you click that.
No, it doesn't say that. Mine doesn't say that.
Oh.
If I'm on Do Not Disturb, there's a reason. Do
Okay.
not disturb.
Right. And we all know that's good information and good advice, right? Because we all know what happens when you get disturbed when it's do not disturb time.
That's right. That's my self-care. That's my
That's
self-care.
That's going to be a question coming up. So right now,
Okay.
I just want to engage. We have a couple of people watching, and I just want to invite you, our viewers, to actively engage by leaving comments or sharing experiences that you might have had either with Debbie and Susie or in moving somewhere with a sibling or a friend. And ask any questions that you might like to ask to Deb or Sue, and we will get an answer for you. So, my darling aunties, what advice do you have for other women who are walking a similar path and need to navigate their personal and even professional lives during these kinds of times?
Well,
I
are you
would-
talking? I'm sorry. Are you talking
Go ahead.
about moving or new jobs or
Mostly
just anything?
mostly moving, like separating from your family, and and a life that you lived most of your life in one place, and then but having the courage and the desire to make that move. Like, what kind of
Okay.
strategies? I know Susie said you guys didn't really have much of a plan, but
Right.
No,
when it
because
came, mm-hmm,
I'm sorry. From the beginning to end, it was only 4 months.
mm-hmm.
And like Susie, I left everything that I had to my grandson. Here, take it all. The only thing that I didn't leave him was my Christmas stuff and all my albums and stuff, but they're at Nikki's house, my granddaughter. So, but I would say make a plan.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And you have to review your area and make sure that this is what you want before you make the move. And follow through with asking questions to anybody that will give you good positive answers as to why you want this area or don't want this area. That's the same with a job. You know where you're most comfortable. And I think it's just good planning. But like I know that I'm sure Susie has had the same thing. And your mom, we all had dreams. We've all had different goals. We've all had wish we could do this, wish we could do that. And we have talked, Susie and I talked about moving over the years off and on. And finally it happened. But take a little more time. But if you're set on moving, jump in with both feet and enjoy the ride.
Great. Thank you. Susie?
Well, that's what I'd say. Just make a plan. Just if possible, go stay in the area for a couple of weeks. Just make sure you're going to enjoy the area. You don't know until you're there how it's going to be, but at least have some idea. Don't just throw a dart at a board and say, okay, I'm moving there, wherever it lands, and if you're inclined to do that, I would go visit that city at least, that's all. I would just make a plan, just have a plan and know in your heart that that's what you want to do, take care of your family, let them know what's happening. It doesn't have to be a bad experience. It's supposed to be a good experience. And me, it was self-care. I was kind of like getting overwhelmed at home and, in Toledo, and I just needed to have a fresh start. And that's what I did. I had a habit in Toledo. I never knew how, the word no was never in my vocabulary. So for
Mhm.
all you women out there that have the problem of not being able to say no and mean it, because my kids just wore me down if I did start no. So I had to put 1,000 miles between us to learn how to say no. And now that's not true for everybody, but that's true for me. So
Right.
to be totally honest, it was a selfish act that I've never been selfish before, and I've wrestled with it, and I've carried guilt with that, believe it or not,
Mhm.
especially where my grandkids are concerned, and what
Well, you
so
know what? I think this is something I say a lot to my clients as well. No is a full sentence.
you would think. It never was for me, but
It
I'm
is
still
absolutely a
close to
full
that.
sentence.
Yeah. What, Deb?
It is definitely a full sentence.
Yes.
Susan and I have
And
discussed this many times. I said, you've got the most pure and unselfish heart of anybody I know. But it's time to take care of Susie.
yes.
They will take care of themselves. Everything comes out in the wash.
Sometimes I think being selfish is the right choice. And I think we
Absolutely.
have societally, we have a strange connotation around, strange idea around the word
The
self,
word selfish,
right?
right?
That it's a not so good word when actually I believe it's an awesome word. And I think when we are truly selfish, we are not only thinking of ourselves, but we are doing things for ourselves so that we have the space and the energy to do for others.
Absolutely.
So, and being selfish is an holistic care kind of thing, right?
Right.
Because you
Mhm.
can't pour from an empty vessel,
That's true. That's true.
right?
Somebody once asked me the question, if you had if you needed shoes and your child needed shoes,
Oh,
who would you buy shoes for? And I said, I would buy my child's shoes. And this person says, that doesn't make sense. You need shoes so you can be able to go take care of what you need to take care of. But see, I would not put shoes on my feet. I would put shoes on my children's feet.
And you
So,
could carry your child.
and I could care, right. So I had to go back and I had to rethink that because I thought, wow, I guess, okay.
Yeah.
But that was always my first response. I created that child, so I'm going to do for that child.
Mhm.
Where I should have learned how to say no 50 years ago. 50 years ago, I'm
Hey,
learning.
better late than never, right?
That's right. I'm
And
learning,
and
I had
and all things in their own time. Pick a cliche. They're cliches for a
right
reason,
for everything. Yeah,
right?
right,
They're
right. Yeah,
cliches for a reason.
I'm just sad I had to put 1,000 miles between us to learn that.
Yeah, but
Sometimes
whatever it takes, right?
that's right. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I want to ask you, how has your journey impacted your perspective on life, your perspectives on life, and enhanced the importance of self-care?
Well, I
have
think we just
definitely.
go
Sorry,
ahead,
Susan.
Deb.
Go ahead, honey. No, you go ahead.
That's kind of like the conversation we just had.
Right.
My journey led me to this spot, and I've learned a lot about myself just being down here. I've always been self-sufficient. I've always been self-sufficient. But as far as the self-care and putting myself first, that didn't happen until I got down here. So I am the whole the impact that it's made on me is that I know I can do whatever I need to do, and I know I can do whatever I have to do, um, and I have no questions about it anymore. I just get up and I do, or I don't do. It's made a good impact on me coming down here.
Great.
Basically,
I know one thing that you do for self-care is do not disturb.
do not
What's
disturb. Right.
what's another thing? What's another just one thing that you do just for you for self-care?
I do pedicures and facials just for
Oh,
me
very nice.
because I
Very
enjoy a
nice.
good facial and I like a pedicure. So I
Fantastic.
do that for me.
Wonderful. I love it. Okay, Deb.
Okay, I think my stress level has come down tremendously since I've moved here. Without going into detail, you know pretty much my history.
Mhm.
And I think it's something that we acquired when we were younger because of our household. If it hadn't been for our mother, I think we all might have been nuts. Let's just put it that way. And so I carried a lot of stress for a long time. But down here, I'm at ease. And like Susie, I never had a problem, honestly, with saying no. There were limits to what I could do to help my children and my grandchildren. And whether it be financially, always supportive. I could always give them a helping hand, doing anything, listening, whatever. Financially, no, I couldn't, but I did to some extent. But I have a grandson that I raised that I overdid with, and he caused me a lot of stress. And I had to pat myself on the back because I have really made him do on his own. I have practiced tough love since I've been down here with him. And to me, it's the best thing I ever did for myself. And like I said, I get out and I move about the community, and that to me has been the best self-care I could possibly have.
That's fantastic. I'm sure it's helped him as well. Just to
It
circle
has.
back to that, it's probably one of the best things you've done for him as well.
Yes.
Right.
I had to let go. I had to quit enabling.
Mhm. That's hard too. I mean, it's hard
It is.
because it's a pattern. It becomes a habit. It's, almost like an addiction.
Well, it
Oh, it
absolutely
is.
is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
gotta do it, right?
Yeah.
So
Right. Sure. Because
so-
that's what made you feel better. Made you
Yeah,
feel
of
better.
course. Yes, I can relate. I can relate.
Yes, we all can.
Right. So I think this has been fantastic. The information that you're sharing is wonderful. It's going to be very helpful to those women who are listening, even if they're not thinking of moving, but who have sibling relationships that maybe, how sibling relationships can be a little bit strained, or too much
Too much.
sometimes.
Right.
Mhm.
Too much togetherness.
Yes.
Right.
And so I just want to quickly touch on something that I think is very, very important that you all mentioned early on, that when you first moved down there, you all were in the same space, like you lived in the same home
Right.
together. And after some time, you figured out in an amicable way, and I'm sure there were some ups and downs in there, but in an
Right.
amicable way, that you wanted to still be close, but not in the same space because your lifestyles were different.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah.
And that you each needed something different. So you made that happen,
Right.
and I think that has actually enhanced your relationship. Does that seem
Yeah.
accurate?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sure it is.
Yeah.
Sure it
Because
is.
it was tense. It was tense for a while. I mean, like I said, I'm a night owl. She's a day person, early morning person, and she would she'd get up and she'd be cleaning, and I'd say, you don't leave anything for me to do. By the time I get up, everything's done. I want to do,
She's a
I want
busy
to do.
lady.
Yeah, she was very busy. I want to do that, or whatever. So,
Right. So, and I think that why I want to mention that is because you were kind of in a rush to get everything sorted out, that those kinds of conversations didn't really take place too
absolutely.
deeply before
No.
you left.
No,
and we
no,
and we knew each other's personalities to begin with because we only lived less than a mile apart at home.
Mhm.
And she'd run to my house or I'd run to her house, or and I knew her schedule pretty much. She knew what my schedule was because I could get up and go to the grocery store at 7 o'clock in the morning, which Susie wouldn't go till noon. It's those kind of things.
Exactly. And so that's why I'm bringing it up, because I think it's very important. One important takeaway is that along with making a plan, creating a strategy of these sorts of having conversations on that
Right.
deeper level. And
It should have been done before.
Yeah, even though it might not seem important, or it might not think like, oh, I can deal, but to really put yourself in that place ahead of time.
Right.
And then, right. And then go together, but be next door neighbors. Yeah, or something, right?
Right.
So you can each retire to your own space.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to, tongue in cheek a little bit, the retire part, but yeah, but that's very important as well. That no matter how close you are, how much you love someone, how well you get along, that it's very important to have those deeper conversations and literally put yourself in that worst case scenario to see if that would be doable.
That was a mistake on our part. We should have discussed it because, like she said, we know each other's habits. We just never thought about cohabitating together with those habits.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't know where it was going to lead us. So we should.
I had gotten married at 17. I was gone. Susie was still at home. She'd gotten married 2 years later. So it was like we had lived together for over 50 years.
Right. Yeah. We haven't. Yeah. So that's definitely a conversation that should be had for anybody that wants to move with somebody else that they're not familiar with, living with.
Right. That they haven't lived with already.
Right. Correct. Yeah. Right. That's very good.
And I'm going to reframe that, instead of saying it was a mistake, to call it an oversight.
And it was an oversight. You're correct. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We didn't make a mistake.
Right. So this has been really wonderful. And I just want to summarize a little bit some of the points that you all made for those listening, and to offer up anybody wants to ask questions, we are going to answer them for you at a time when we're finished here. I just want to say, I think some of the things that are important: make a plan.
Make a plan.
Right? Make a plan all the way around. Create a strategy.
Yep.
And really have those deeper conversations with your family, or the family that are around you that it's going to affect, as well as with whomever it is you're going to be moving in with, to be sure that you have covered all of those bases.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That's good. Okay. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay. Do y'all have anything you want to add?
Just that we love you, and I love Debbie in her space, and I'm in my space, and your mother will be here to visit us in a short while.
Yes, and I love all of you.
3 of us will be together.
Yes.
Good. So let's take a moment to appreciate Deb and Sue for sharing their inspiring journey with us. Your strength and resilience are truly remarkable, and again, have been an inspiration to me my entire life. So thank you very much for that.
Well, you're welcome. You've been an inspiration to us also.
Oh, thank you. And I think my drive and determination to support women all of my life, you guys have been a huge driver of that. So
well, thank you.
I want to let you know that. And I'm so proud of both of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we're proud of you, Kim.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So
I
we
wish
invite
I could
our
see
viewers.
your face. I got a Zoom screen. I can't see your face.
You can't see my face?
No, I can't see Susie anymore either.
Uh-oh.
Well, you must have hit a button.
No, I didn't do nothing. I was just sitting here and it says Zoom, and that's what it says.
Okay,
that's great. I love it. So we invite our viewers to share their own stories, suggest future topics or guests, and actively engage with the Surviving Womanhood community. And please remember, mark your calendars and join us every Wednesday for Women's Wisdom Wednesdays, when we'll have the privilege of hosting more remarkable guests who'll be sharing their inspiring stories. And before we wrap up, I want to once again extend a heartfelt thank to my beautiful aunts, Deb and Sue, for joining us today and sharing their incredible story. Mwah. I love both of you.
Love
We
you.
love you too.
Your story is going to serve as an inspiration to us all. And if you've been touched by this inspirational story, or you have your own experiences to share, please leave us a comment. We value your voice, and we want to create a community where we can learn and grow together. And remember, you can catch up on any of the WWW episodes you've missed. Visit our website at www.survivingwomanhood.com and click on podcasts. And together, let's face every challenge, rise above adversity, and support one another on our journeys of surviving womanhood. See you next time.